Hello, I'm at another one of the prehistoric temples here in Malta, and I just sat and did another meditation. And this one's an interesting one because it's actually behind a gate, and you can't get in there unless it's by appointment, or I think they open it once or twice a year. This is one of the really powerful sites. The more cosmic or evolved understanding or belief around this one is that this was the place where they drew in the 7 rays or 7 frequencies of energy to the earth to then send out to the people. And there was this really interesting rock found here. It's now in a museum, but it has 7 holes, and they say that each hole brought through a different ray of physical manifestation, so the energy centers. I'll show you. If I can turn this around, I'll show you. So it's through this gate, and this is the site. It just looks like rubble, but it's so powerful. It's really something else. Anyway, and so you can imagine, I've been sitting just here on a tree, looking this way towards the gate with my eyes closed, meditating for, I don't know, ages. And I'm sure they think I'm fucking nuts. But anyway, well, I am a bit nuts, but I had some more downloads that I want to share with you. Some really interesting ones, actually, for me. It wasn't quite as strong here as the Wisdom School or Tarshin was for me. At Tarshin, I was there. That was a place that I was stationed. And so the stones there were my friends and teachers. So I really, it felt like home to me. And I remembered being there a lot and working there. And this one here, it was incredibly powerful for me to be here and to sit here. However, it wasn't my home. It wasn't necessarily where I have been working or stationed. But I did a meditation. I went through the energy centers and opened up to some healing and received some really beautiful clearing and healing. But one of the things that I wanted to really share with you that I experienced here right now was this beautiful kind of teaching about the divine feminine in as a mother and as a partner. Now, of course, the work that I teach is entirely about being embodying that divine and powerful feminine polarity in relationship, and through learning these particular practices myself and embodying them, I've been able to cultivate a really healthy, deep, soulful relationship in marriage, and have helped lots of other women to do the same thing. However, I knew that when I had a baby that it was going to be a whole new reality and a whole new level of this, and so I also was shown that I'm going to have challenges and then be given lots of downloads and teachings and wisdom around how to embody and integrate this being in that divine and powerful feminine polarity, not just in a relationship but as a mother. And I think I've mentioned to some of you anyhow before that I have had this lifetime has been a lot about healing and integrating lessons from a previous life where I was working at a temple, and at this temple I was extremely devoted to the goddess, and I was married, and I loved my husband. I had a husband and a son, and I loved them. And this came through from an Akashic record reading, and long before I met my husband or had my son. And anyhow, I loved my family, but my husband used to beat me because he didn't understand my level of devotion to the goddess. Anyhow, this lifetime, prior to all of that, I really struggled integrating those two parts of myself and those two parts of my life. So being in relationship and then my devotion to my spiritual path. And I used to go from one to the other. So I'd be incredibly devoted and really embodying my spiritual devotion. And I mean in a very, very big way. And then I would come into relationship from that place and it'd be fantastic. But then at some point I wasn't able to hold the two. And so I would let go of my devotion to my spiritual path, and it'd just be there on the outskirts, and I would focus my attention instead on my partner and on my relationship. Anyhow, that obviously doesn't work. And I had, through all the work that I've done and the experiences that I've had, the research, obviously I have found the pathways to integrate that, which has been really healing. And now doing it as a mother, it's a whole other level, because those of you who are a parent will know, especially as a woman, that, we just give so much to our children. And it's not just through wanting or through guilt or through feeling like you should. You want to. I mean, I adore my son, and I want to give everything to him, and I want him to feel enveloped in unconditional love all of the time. And so the confusion, though, is that it needs to come from me all the time, regardless of how I'm feeling, and that if I'm not giving to him every moment, that I'm somehow not giving him all that he needs or all that I should. Anyhow, I've just had this beautiful experience. Here I am in Malta on a family holiday, and this place is surrounded by these, or inundated with these beautiful spiritual temples, which is such an important thing for me in my journey. And I struggled at first. I wanted to do the temples, but then I wanted to be on my family holiday. And now we found this beautiful flow in our family where we've just kind of disconnected from every outside influence. So all the other people that are around, because we have family here as well who are divine, and I love them, and it's been wonderful catching up with them. However, we just kind of let that go a little bit and have surrendered to the family. And now we're driving around Malta to go here and to do this and to do that, some things for Caleb, some fun stuff. And then, we realise, there's a temple close by. So my husband says, well, let's go. And he takes me here, and I mean, he's on this path too, but he supports me in my path as the woman embodying divinity and connecting to divinity. And so he's off at a playground with Caleb while I sit here and do this beautiful meditation. And through the meditation, especially when I got up to the seventh center, I was just inundated with this beautiful wisdom and understanding how being in a family as a woman who's on the path, it is our job. It's our job to embody that feminine, that spiritual connection, that being connected to the divine. And I mean, I'm not to say men can't do it as well, they can, but in this dynamic type of relationship, it's my job to do this. And so not just because it's my career, but it's my job as a woman and as a mother and as the person who brings in that love into the family. And so stopping and tuning in is not only, and tuning in and connecting to that divinity in whatever way that is, whether it be to go to, a meditation class or do your own meditation or take half a day off to go on retreat or whatever it is my it's my job to do this so that I can actually give that unconditional love both to my son and to my husband. I also was shown a vision, which is, this is a little bit more out there, but when you're on that path of spiritual awakening, energy is energy, right? And so all energy that starts in the base center, it starts in the base center, and you choose where it goes. So, how far up does it go? Does it stop at your heart in unconditional love? Does it go all the way up to your, to your sixth center so that you can see through the veils of illusion? And I know that when you're in relationship, in a human relationship, sex is such a big thing, but sex is so often keeps the energy down in the lower centers, which stops us from awakening more and more and opening up more and more. And so I know I personally have struggled with this one when I'm really in that spiritual place and sex just doesn't really feel right a lot of the time. But also sex is such an important part of relationship. Anyway, I was shown this beautiful vision and felt this in my cells. How it's exactly the same as when you're doing a meditation, that first you want to open your heart. When you're meditating, you want to first open your heart so that you're tuning into the frequency of love, because then when we open up our subtle energy bodies, we're opening up to whatever, because everything's there, right? So we want to first connect to the frequency of love, then open up in our meditation. Now, it's exactly the same with sex, and I just had this experience of it where the energy comes up to your heart first, so opening the heart, then opening the sixth center to bring the energy all the way up and expand into that universal frequency, that universal quantum field, but tuning into the frequency of love. And then we can come back down to the lower center, the sexual center, and connect from that place. But we've already opened up that pathway, and so then sexuality becomes an experience of energy, my energy and the other person's energy connecting, so our energy becoming more powerful, and then drawing it up and opening up to, greater love, greater wisdom, and keep coming back. And of course, this is Tantra 101, and I've done so much Tantra. I used to teach Tantra a long time ago, that it's quite complicated and complex, and you can get kind of stuck down in the detail. And this was just a very simple experience for me that I was shown while sitting here at the Kordin temples, and I'm now excited to try. So I'll share more with you when I've given it a go. Sorry, Mum, if you're watching.